Is that what it's like for you all the time? I couldn't live like that. That's literally what my friend's response was to the way I experience the world. The way I experience the world is as a highly sensitive person. And I know this is something that gets a really bad rap because of the word sensitivity. In our culture, sensitivity is often equated with emotional sensitivity and being like easily triggered or overwhelmed. And that's not what it means to be highly sensitive. So I'm going to tell you what it's like being highly sensitive from the perspective of someone who is highly sensitive. I didn't know I was a highly sensitive person. I fit in this category until a few years ago, but that doesn't mean it didn't affect me my entire life, because the phrase highly sensitive person or high sensitivity in a psychological sense wasn't actually coined until the mid 90s. And it really has only become into the cultural mainstream in like the last decade. It's something that a lot of people really don't understand. And like I said, the word sensitivity gets a bad rap. There's a great line in one of my favorite movies from the 80s, Blue Thunder.
What's the sensitivity of those mics?
You can hear a mouse fart at 2,000 feet.
That's kind of what it means to be highly sensitive, is that we have a nervous system that is so attuned to the world around us that we pick up more than most people do. So we hear that mouse fart. Not literally, but it just means that we are more attuned to what is going on around us and the information our senses are taking in. And there's a lot of neuroscience that backs this up. It's not just like something we're making up. They've actually proven it. They can study it. They can measure it. They can actually do MRIs and see that people who qualify as highly sensitive have greater activity in certain parts of the brain. They have greater activity in their mirror neurons, which have to do with empathy and understanding other people. Their processing centers of their brains are more active. At the same time, we also, our brains, all of our brains, not just highly sensitive people, everybody's brains has the capacity to filter things out. We take in millions and millions of bits of information and data every second of the day. And that would be overwhelming if we had to process it all. So our brains filter most of it out. But for a highly sensitive person, we filter out less. More stuff is logged as important in our brains. And so what is that like? The way I experience the world is brighter than the way you do if you're not HSP. That the emotion that comes through when I listen to music is more powerful. The vividness of a good movie is just that much more intense to me. When our feelings get hurt, we feel that more intensely. But at the same time, when we feel joy, when we feel love, when we feel excitement, we feel that more intensely. And that is just a wonderful way to go through life. Honestly, if you ask me, if I get the choice between not having the level of sadness that I get sometimes, but giving up the level of joy and awe that I feel in the world and the depth of love I feel for my friends, I'll take the sadness as the price. One of my favorite things is the contrast between the blue of the sky and the green of the trees at a certain time of day. And I can try to explain that to somebody, and if I'm walking with a friend, I can point it out to them, but they can go, yeah, that's pretty. But I can just tell by their tone of voice that they're just not feeling it the way I feel it. When you constantly see that people are not feeling the same level of awe that you do, you begin to realize that you are definitely seeing things in a different way. And one of the ways that we know this is because our mirror neurons, which are the part of the brains that activate when you see someone else and you basically mirror their emotions. One of the reasons that HSPs have deep, deep empathy. And I can literally sense that your level of emotion to that sky and trees that I just pointed out is less than mine. And this is something, again, this is why we have deep empathy. We can read people really well. We understand the pain that they're feeling, and we're very empathetic, and we don't like to hurt people, which is why a lot of HSPs can be very people pleasers. But we can also read when you're not as excited, you're not as awestruck as us, you're not as intensely affected by things as we are, because we literally can gauge that. It's also very hard to lie to an HSP. We might tell you we don't think you're lying, but we do. And that brings me to the subject of overwhelm, because in Dr. Elaine Aron, who wrote the book on HSP, literally the first book on HSP, breaks it down into 4 main characteristics: deep processing, overstimulation, empathy and emotional awareness, and sensory sensitivity. Overwhelm, overstimulation is the one thing that the outside world most seems to characterize with HSPs. If everything in your life, every sound you heard got a little bit louder by like 10%, and every bit of light coming into your eyes at the same time turned up like 10%, and every sensation on your skin, from like the air conditioning to the sun, was 10% more intense at the same time as the other two, and every smell you smelled also got 10% more intense, good and bad, and every taste in your mouth got 10% more intense. If all of that amped up at once, you'd get overwhelmed too. Like it'd be too much. And I get it a lot listening to music. There are songs that no matter how many times I hear them, I can't sing them. Like, I'm listening to them, you want to sing along with the song, I can't sing them all the way through because my voice breaks and I start to tear up. And I've got a particular song that I've been singing along with for more than a decade, and it's on my regular playlist, but I still can't complete it because my voice breaks, and I just like I lose it because this song affects me so much. And when it becomes too much, the thing you want to do is you want to turn it all down. And the way that an HSP turns it all down is to try and remove themselves from the situation. So this is why we don't, we prefer quieter environments. We prefer one-on-one conversations. We just like to really experience the world in its full vibrancy. But in order to do that, we need to kind of isolate other things. So it's like wearing noise canceling headphones. If you can't put on the noise canceling headphones, you got to cover your ears, or move somewhere that's not as loud, because it's too much. It's just too much. And if we can't get away from that, then basically parts of our brain start to shut down. And one of the things that a lot of people think of this as like hiding in bathrooms in a party or at work when you're just overstimulated. Just go to the bathroom because it's quiet and you're alone. It's a safe space. I think every HSP has done that at some point in their life. It's kind of we learn it so early, we don't even necessarily know what it is, why we're doing it. We just know we need to get out. It's just we feel it in our bodies somehow. We need to get out. We need to leave, go somewhere else. We find safe ways to do that. The beautiful side of all of this is this deep processing, which is one of the greatest things. We do just think about things really deeply. That's why this video is going to end up kind of being way longer than I expected, because I keep having more ideas. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. And oh, what about this? Oh, they should know about this. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. I will create thought experiments for myself and create entire stories, like whole books, whole movies in my own head with my own characters that I invent, and just let them play out. And, like one of the things I've done, particularly as a child, was to soothe myself to go to bed, is I would invent these stories in my head, and I would tell myself the story and just kind of move it along, and then until I fell asleep. And then the next night I'd pick up where I left off and I keep telling it, and it's just all inside my head, a complete world. That's that deep processing. But like when you give us a problem that we latch onto, we see it from every possible angle, not just the logistics and statistics and numbers and moving parts, but also how it impacts this thing over here and how it's going to affect the people who have to work on it. And it's going to affect this person's personal life, and they're going through a problem with their marriage, or they just had a child, and so that's going to be a problem for them. And that kind of stress is going to impact not only their personal life, but it's going to impact how they show up for the job I want them to do, and they're maybe not going to do it as good. But at the same time, if I don't give it to them, they might get upset and feel like I didn't have trust in them to handle it. And if I say that they're going to, that's not the case, that I just wanted to make sure they had room to do what they needed to do, then they might feel like I'm accusing them of being unable to make that balance themselves. That's the kind of thinking that we do. And it goes down every decision we make, just goes all these ripple effects and all these causes and effects and different scenarios that we work out. And that can be exhausting too in certain circumstances, but it can also be amazingly fun and entertaining. And so sometimes when we're just sitting there in our quiet space alone, we're not just zoning out. Like, there's stuff going on in there that on an amazing and intensely deep level. The way for me, and this is just for me, I'm not trying to generalize all HSPs. And I also have to qualify this particular example by saying that I'm also HSS, which is high sensation seeking, which is a completely different set of characteristics. But in my case, in a small percentage of people, these two overlap. And when they overlap, it's really interesting. But so one of my favorite things to do is to ride a motorcycle. The HSS side is really satisfied because being on the bike with the wind going and the drone of the engine, everything else is drowned out. So I become pure vision and pure physical sensation. And I can feel the temperature changes in the air as we go down into a valley or up on a higher spot, or move from shadow into light, or all those things. And I really love feeling those sensations. To me, that is really allowing me to both reduce certain sensations and then focus on others. I think all HSPs instinctively find their own niche for that, their own thing that allows them to drown out other stuff and focus on one particular thing, one particular sense or sensation or two, and really just get into that state of flow. And then that deep processing is combined with that high sensation, or that high sensitivity, to process those very clearly and very accurately. And then we are in the zone. And this is one of the amazing things about being HSP, is it's been proven that in unhealthy circumstances and unhealthy situations, we bear a greater burden. It hurts us more because we feel it more. But when we're nurtured, when we're supported, when we are in our ideal environment, we shine. We outperform the average person. Because we have those deep processing and that empathy and that sensitivity to everything that allows us to bring it all together, and then boom, the world opens up. So that's what it's like being HSP. If you have a friend who's HSP, now you understand. If you are HSP, maybe you didn't know you were HSP until now. Maybe you're thinking about it and not thinking you might be, and now you want to go down that road because this really sounds like you. Leave a comment. Let me know what it's like for you. Like, what is the thing that focuses you? What is the thing that overwhelms you? What is the thing that you do when you're overwhelmed to avoid that, to escape from that? What's your experience as an HSP? I want to know. My name is Charles. I'm a leadership coach for highly sensitive people, because leadership for us looks different. It's not this alpha leadership and this kind of like ego-driven leadership that you see promoted in a lot of ways. It's very different, and I think it's the kind of leadership that we need to have today. If that's something you're interested in pursuing, there's a link in the description down below. You can book a one-on-one session with me. We can talk about what coaching looks like, and maybe if that's a good fit for you. Otherwise, I got a lot of videos up already. I got more coming. We're going to, in the near future, I'm going to start breaking down each of the individual parts of the HSP framework and talk about what they're like to experience. So if you want to see those, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay? Peace.